welcome to the Fragtastic, Mr. Fox. Today I'm going to do 10 fragrances I would choose if I had to start over. This was not an easy one to figure out. Starting with 10 with the collection I have is pretty tough, but I tried to keep it well-rounded and ones that I know I'm going to wear. This is a tag video. My buddy Tyler from Simply Fragrances tagged me in this, and I said I accept. Once again, he's becoming the king of tags within our group of friends. So with that said, I figured I'd break it up to my style. If I was gonna start over, I'd pick 2 super cheapies. I'd pick a couple of classics that I love. I like my vintage fragrances, and some niche, some high-end designers, and some other fragrances that, just a little mix-up of what I would choose. Now, number 1 is something I figured if I'm gonna start over, I'm gonna start the cheap method to build my collection. And I'm gonna go to the rack stores, TJ Maxx, Burlington, and 2 that are always there. The first one, and this is in no particular order, I would go and grab for 15 bucks. I would go and grab Nautical Voyage. I don't really have to get too deep into this. I'm not gonna get into notes for all these fragrances, but I would grab Nautical Voyage. It's stupid cheap. It's always at the rack store. This is an easy shower jelly, fresh, summer, spring, anytime fragrance. To me, it has like a cucumber melon-ish vibe. It's a little sporty. I get great performance. 6 to 8 hours, it tends to sit on my skin pretty well. But it's super fresh, inoffensive, and easy dumb reach fragrance to grab starting your collection at in a cheap manner. Number 2, which is a unique one to me, it's been talked about a bunch, 20 bucks for a huge bottle. Best atomizer in the game. Shawn Johns, 3 a.m. This thing, not the best performer, but has this gin and tonic, super fresh. It's classy that you could dress it up. You can hang out in this stuff. It's not, like I said, the best performer. I get like 5 to 7 hours depending upon my setting. If I'm sweating a lot, if it's a super high heat, you might get 4 to 5. But for 20 bucks, you could keep the small version. I think it was like 15 bucks last time, or 12 bucks I saw it for, that you could throw it in your backpack and refresh. Like I said, it's got a classy vibe about it. It's not your typical scent. If it was rebottled and had a little bit more performance, I could see this going for a lot more money. But it's got this, like I said, gin and tonic, fresh, classy vibe to it. Great fragrance for 20 bucks. I always recommend this. So to start my collection from the rack stores, 2 cheapies that you can get on discounters, stupid cheap, would be Nautical Voyage and Shawn Johns 3 a.m. to open up out of the gate. So 3 and 4, this was a tough one. I like my classics. I like my vintage fragrances. I like my men's masculines, as a lot of people would say. Number 1, classic. This would be the 3rd fragrance, but it's Polo Green. I just love this. It's not for everybody. Probably smells like a dad or a grandpa, but I love that resinous pine, leather, oak moss is like one of my favorite like notes. And this is just deep, it's rich, it's just so full of like, you just feel like a classy man. And it might be for a little bit of, 30 and up. It's, a particular taste maybe, but I had to grab it. It's a staple, it's a classy one. So number 3, to start my collection, I would have to grab my Polo Green. Number 4, another men's classic style barbershop fougere type fragrance. Has a little bit of that Dracar Noir-esque vibe, a little bit more refined, smoother. Goes in a little bit more of an oak moss direction, and it would be Duke de Verven's. This is the Eau de Toilette. I don't know what's on that puppy, but cool bottle, plastic around the edges, but still looks cool, glass in the middle. But yeah, it's And it's just so smooth and elegant and has that Drakkar-esque vibe, but a little bit more green, and I feel like herbal in a different direction. But if you like your barbershop fougères like I do, and chypres and things like that, these men's classics or classic fragrances, this is something I wouldn't leave out. It was a very hard pick between this one and Drakkar Noir, but this actually I wear a lot more because the new formulation of Drakkar is kind of just doesn't last as long as the vintage batches. But if I'm gonna take 10 with me, these two classics gotta come with. Number 5, we're getting into some designers here. So number 5, it was a toss-up with bringing the classic version of this or the original, the EDT, because it has such a it started my journey. My grandfather used to wear it, and it's Dior Fahrenheit. But I figured if I'm going to start over, a little bit more of a modernized version. Not everybody loves it, but it's not as petro, and it's the Fahrenheit Parfum. And it's Fahrenheit Parfum. Has, to me, more of a touch of that gasoline petro vibe. But a little bit of vanilla, some like a boozier note to it, but very elegant, very refined, just much easier going, a modernized version on the DNA, super classy. To me, it's a very sexy scent and intoxicating. To take that DNA and make it very intoxicating is not an easy feat. A great fragrance would have to come with me. So number 5 is Dior Fahrenheit's Parfum. Another designer which I love in this line of fragrances is not talked about as much, and I love this one. It's I think it's discontinued as well, but I've been seeing it on discounters pop up, and it's from Prada, and it is Prada Amber Porum Intense. Now, I think I love this one so much because you're getting a little bit of that, like a subtle amount of the Amber Porum DNA, but it has more of a classic men's fragrance vibe to me. And the dry down is just it's semi-sweet, has almost an old school vibe. Like I wouldn't want to say like a Bois de Portugal by Creed or anything like that, but in that same vein, I feel like it's just one of those that it's a modernized version. I think Prada did so well with this. You know, it didn't respond very well because of that old school kind of vibe. But for me, it works. It would have to come with. I wear this all the time. I love it. So Prada Porum Intense would be number 6 for me. So our last 4. This is in the high end of the line. It's one of their top parts of their signature line, I guess, within this company, and it's YSL's Caban. YSL's Caban. I love this fragrance. It's a rose, a creamy, rosy fragrance, not jammy, not like realistic, really looking rose. It's more got like this coconut creamy vibe to it, and there's no coconut listed. I've talked about this a bunch, but there's something just really sexy and inviting, a great date night fragrance, a great fragrance to, totally unisex, but to bring a lady nice and close to the neck, you're gonna smell just almost edible. It's like, has a gourmand vibe. It's rose and it's tonka, and the tonka is very semi-sweet and creamy and decadent. Just so lovely. Everybody loves Tuxedo, which is a great fragrance in the same line, but for me, Caban is just, it's a masterful scent to me, so that would have to come with. Let's see, from one of my favorite houses, this was a tough one, another niche fragrance, but I love my musks. It's a little dirty, a little animalic, and from the House of Zaharoff, and it's one of the newer offerings. We have Royale X. Love this fragrance. It's musky, it's a little dirty, sweaty. It's just, it's a love for me. I love this house. It was a very hard pick between the Signature Parfum. I wear the Noir a lot. That was a tough one for me. The Rosé I wear actually the most, but I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna grab Caban for more of a sexy, creamier vibe than Zaharoff's Rosé, which is more incense and realistic rose. But this, if you like your musks, it's the Royale kind of DNA, but dirtied up, totally sexy to me. It's a compliment beast for me. A lot of people talk about performance. I think they're going anosmic to it, but Royale X would have to be one of the ones in the Zaharoff line coming with me in my 10 if I had to start over. My final two, number 8, a designer that I love. I have all of them in this line of Dior. I'm just gonna get right into it. Dior Homme Parfum. I love this fragrance. Would have to come with, I love my irises, but this one, just the darkest version of it. Very leathery, lipsticky iris, like Dior Homme line is known for, except for the new 2020 version and the newer versions of it. But to me, this is the darkest, the most bad boy version of it, or badass version of it. Would have to come with me. I love this fragrance. I'm a big iris fan. So Dior Homme Parfum would have to start my collection and be in the top 10 for a dress up, date night, classy fragrance that I'm going out with. Dior Homme Parfum, a killer fragrance. Last but not least, I figured I'd take out my baby. Gotta take it out of the box slowly. We're going niche. Finishing with a bang. And I'm picking this fragrance because it was one of the most exciting fragrances to ever show up in my door. One of the most expensive fragrances I've bought. And I'll just show you. I'm gonna take it out of the box. I should be wearing gloves like a profesh, but I'm not. And if you didn't see the box, it's a Xerjoff. And it's the new Xerjoff Monkey Special. The Tony Iommi bottle. So I have it, it's signed by Tony Iommi and Sergio Momo. And this little puppy right here is my pride and joy. I have an alarm system around it. I'm gonna spray it on because I don't like to waste it. But yeah, it's special to, oh, it's like this boozy passion fruit, spicy. It's one of the best offerings from Xerjoff in a while. But yeah, this got this passion fruit, this boozy rum, the cinnamon and spices and patchouli. It's just so, it's spicy, it's gourmandish, it's a little dirty to me. It's just, and the passion fruit is really dominant to my nose. So it's the spicy, boozy, fruity passion fruit up top. So delicious, so beautiful. Another unisex fragrance. And one of those that I'm a huge fan of, not only Xerjoff, a bunch of their fragrances, but Tony Iommi and Black Sabbath. He's one of my favorite guitarists. It was the most exciting thing ever for me. So just being able to buy something like this, and it's limited edition, it would have to come with me if I was starting over. Or if I was starting over, it would be one of the first I'm purchasing. So made this fast. I wanted to get through it. I wanted to, complete my tag from Mr. Tyler. I keep it as an open tag. I mean, Dave, Callie's Groom Room, if you didn't do one already, you could go for it. Brian from My Two Cents. Anybody and anybody could do this if you want it. But yeah, that's my 10 if I was starting over. my cheapies, my little bit more of higher ends, my vintage. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Tyler, thank you again for the tag. These are always fun. Guys, just smell foxy, be safe out there, and I'll see you again. And yeah, I'm gonna go take them for a walk. I got 2 dogs, and she's my little fragrance mascot. If you guys like this type of content, you know what to do. Much love. Be safe. Peace.